People, deluded, I'm back again. It's stupid o'clock over here in the UK. Obviously, Arsenal have just won 2-1 against Bayern Munich. It's stupid o'clock. I'm actually mad tired, but reviews have to get done. All of these things have to happen. We know it's pre-season. We know the result isn't anything. In short, tactically, we want to make some improvements in regards to last season. I feel fitness is overplayed in pre-season with the amount of games these professionals in the current day play. But there's the fitness aspect for young players. There's an opportunity to impress. We've also got commercial obligations to fulfill. So there's many reasons for pre-season and whatnot. Obviously, the result in the grand scheme of things, people, doesn't mean anything. But I'm actually, apart from the goal we conceded and probably not taking our chances, because I know it was 2-1, but Lewandowski, we'll get on to it, equalised. When Nelson had a chance, he probably should have scored. And it's not just him. We had a number of guys that should have been either, when it was balls being put over the balls, low whip crosses being put into the box. People need to gamble and get across that. Really disappointing, kind of, with Lacazette. He looked a bit tired and off the pace. On the scheme of it, I liked how we played today, man. I feel the only things I could say is obviously the goal we conceded. Potentially in the second half, our fullbacks were probably too narrow, and we allowed Munich to get back in the game. You saw what Kingsley Coleman was doing to Maitland-Niles. Aubameyang wasn't backing him, but Aubameyang was man of the match for me between him and Mesut Ozil. Joe Willock as well as a contender. Obviously, young Eddie come off the bench. Early on, or in fact, the first half, the theme of the first half for me was Munich. First and foremost, they had some good young players, but I was impressed with how, at least from what I'm seeing, they looked very well drilled. You saw them getting men behind the ball, especially when we were slower in our build-up play. They got men behind the ball. They made it tough for us to kind of break them down. When we were doing things quick and in less touches and counter-attacking, we were a threat, particularly down the right-hand side. You saw Aubameyang, he had Alaba on toast. He looked like a consistent threat. Mesut Ozil was up for it. I don't know if it's because we're playing a German team pre-season or not. You're always going to have the bit between your teeth. I think young Joe Willock, I don't think he was amazing like it was a masterclass like Perlo and that, but he played some neat passes, couple of stray ones, but he played some neat passes. He made some tackles, he got committed, he had to ride a couple fouls. I was thinking, it's pre-season, are you Bayern Munich lads trying to injure young Joe? He took his chances, man, and I think Joe, obviously if we sign another central midfielder, it's a different case, but he's someone you think out of all the young players, low-key might get a lot of chances next season, depending on how he works in a pivot with Xhaka. I did feel at times we played a couple stray passes on the edge of our area, and I was like, whoa, we're inviting pressure onto ourselves. But I think we played quite confident, particularly down the right-hand side with Aubameyang. You saw, man, every counter-attack, this guy's at the focal point of it, if not Ozil. There was one incident from a corner, Bayern Munich corner, he's raced down the right-hand side and he's pulled it across, and we probably should have done better. And while he's our striker and he's our number one, we've seen him played out wide in games, in certain game situations, and that's something, an option we need to take going forward next season, because he is a threat out there. Doesn't give you much defensively, but he is a mad threat out there. Mustafi and Xhaka in particular, a couple of stray passes, but they weren't alone, man. I feel 18th minute, it was a lovely move. The ball was switched from Joe out to the left hand side, and it was cut back by Ozil. Nobody was at the near post, and that was a constant theme. Can't even lie to you lot. You lot know Lacazette's my guy, but he does look off the pace, and obviously I don't know in regards to his own fitness things, if he's carrying injuries and whatnot. But in the 9 minutes he played in the last game against Colorado Rapids, he looked off the pace. He looked off the pace today. The link-up play wasn't quite there. Couple of times where if he just darted across, he could have scored. I was quite unimpressed with Lacazette. Don't feel Mkhitaryan had the best of games either. But other than that, I'm not trying to be negative. I feel we played quite well. We had another good chance in the 20th minute. I feel Ozil was playing some lovely football and some lovely passes. You saw Aubameyang on 2 occasions in this game. More so, the one I remember more vividly in the first half, just simply being a threat and having pace. Put Alaba on toast. Obviously, he pressured Neuer into almost making a mistake. Neuer almost got caught in possession, being overconfident. I think our defence needs a lot of work. You saw our centre-halves being openly exposed, and our midfielders potentially could have done more. Our wide players potentially could have helped out our fullbacks a bit more. You did see gaps. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just looking, because for me, pre-season, the whole point of it is to improve what you did last year, and it's more or less just started. I'm not expecting to see fireworks, but you're still seeing the same old issues occurring within our defence specifically. I feel Maitland-Niles did well in the first half to go forward. Second half, Kingsley Coleman gave him a stress, but it is what it is, man. I feel all in all in the first half, I'll take that against Bayern Munich. We had Leno made a couple of good saves throughout the game, a couple in the first half. Really and truly, I feel we're in control of the game more or less, man. I feel Munich are giving as good as they're getting. They're not afraid to play, and I feel that young fullback on the right hand side was decent, man. Looking like Philip Lahm, that he was decent, but I feel the counter-attacks and moves we was putting together was cool. I feel everybody looked confident when in possession. At times, we probably riding our luck from a couple of Bayern Munich efforts, but I was cool with how we played, to be fair, man. The main thing is fitness, staying injury-free and from a tactical point of view, and I think it was there. The only criticism is we did have a couple of chances, like in the last game, and like Arsenal in general, where I potentially feel we could have done much better, because we were playing quite well, man. Like, half-time, my thoughts were, on the counter, we look good. Ozil and Joe Willock are the ones for me. Aubameyang's doing his thing on the right-hand side. I feel Socrates, I like, nothing amazing, but I just feel to make a point of, I like how he's constantly talking. And he's one of them, it's not, no disrespect to Mustafi, but Mustafi seems like an individual on the football field, just talks for the sake of it. You look at the Palace games, etc. Socrates is constantly proactive, and there was a time, I think him and Maitland-Niles, they got sat on their bums. It was a game for that sort of thing. He got sat on his bum, but he held it up. There was a moment Alaba got sat on his bum by Aubameyang as well. It was a deadly day out there for them sort of things. I feel them low driven crosses, if someone just darts across the byline or the goal or the area, they're going to score a tap in, essentially, people, really and truly. I feel Munich really can't cope with when we're doing this fast counter-attacking play, the interchanging movement. I feel we played quite comfortable in the first half, man, really and truly. I would have liked a couple more goals, get a bit of a cushion, but we're playing Bayern Munich, champions. I know it's not the full strength side, but they smacked us 10-2. We know of this side. They still have Alaba, they still got Lewandowski, they still had good Thiago, forgive me if I'm wrong. They still had players to call upon. Second half, I was getting a bit nervous because he did start to see a bit of fatigue creeping into our play. As much as I feel Joe Willock's good, I feel for young players it's important to keep your high standards. And as he was getting tired, I do think his standards were dropping. The passes weren't having the same crisp effect. Not just him. And not just him, to be fair with you. I feel we was riding our luck. I feel with the introduction of Kingsley Coleman, it really gave Maitland-Niles a tough time in there. And we've seen it happen to Maitland-Niles before, and it's a learning experience. Like I said, Aubameyang is a striker. He doesn't want to defend, and he's playing right wing. Potentially Maitland-Niles could have called him back to help him a bit, or tell his centre-halves to help cover, and they will pull in a midfielder. These sort of things that will help improve us. Coleman looks like a man inspired. He had a number of good efforts where he should have scored. Leno in the first half made some good saves, but so did Martinez. Martinez had a couple saves. If I'm honest, people, I don't know what to make of Martinez based on this game, because I feel he made some good saves, but when I was asking myself the question, is he really making good saves, or are these just good shot-stopping efforts? And what I mean by that is he's making good initial efforts, but where he's palming them, are they into the best areas? What's his kicking like? Because I'm looking at it, touch wood, if Leno gets injured sort of thing, people. He did all right. He made some good saves. I feel Munich probably should have scored a couple of more. We should have scored a couple more. Kolasinac put a lovely low driven cross in the second half. Again, nobody there. That was the consistent theme of things, to be fair with you. The goal we conceded, Reece Nelson came onto the field, and it's not his fault, of course. Ball came into from the right hand side, and when he came on, he took his first touch. It was a good save by their keeper that they brought on by Munich. But by the same token, I thought to myself, could he have scored there? I know could he have scored there, but should he have scored there? I looked at it. First touch potentially should have been better. Your first touch sets up everything in football. If he has a better first touch, he puts that away. Could he have potentially also, rather than taking a touch on his right, could he have let it come across on his left? I don't know, innit? But maybe. Either way, he doesn't take his effort. And then shortly after, Bayern Munich score. That's not to say it's Nelson's fault. It's not Nelson's fault we conceded. It's not his fault. But that's to show you how cutthroat football is. You don't take your chances. Throughout the whole game, but more so that effort, teams take advantage. And that, while I'm not picking, it's pre-season, so let's not pick at the performance. That's a constant theme from last season. What did I say at the beginning of this vid? It's about learning where we went wrong from the last year. I might not have said that in exact words, but you get the point. The goal we conceded was frustrating for me because you lot know there's many subcategories, as I keep of how we need to improve defensively. One of them being aerial threats. It's Lewandowski. he's a bad boy striker, whether it's finishing with his feet or in the air. But from an Arsenal point of view, it's disappointing. It's disappointing in the build-up. It's disappointing not to stop the cross. And the most disappointing thing is, yes, Lewandowski scored the header, but go and look at Lewandowski, and I believe behind him is Kingsley Coleman. Maitland-Niles and Mustafi are at 6s and 7s. The whole defence is at 6s and 7s. Lewandowski's more or less unmarked. Maitland-Niles is with Kingsley Coleman, but Lewandowski's unmarked. One of the most deadliest strikers in the world, people, and playing against us right now, pre-season or not, is unmarked. You know, on top of that, he's a threat in the air. So not just Mustafi, because I feel he could have done much better. If we watch the goal again, the sequence in regards to what our team do, could midfielders have ran and dropped in quickly? And if you're not gonna, my coach told me, it doesn't matter if you're short. If you can't beat, I would not beat Lewandowski to a header. Most people wouldn't. But what can you do if you can't put him in? If you can't beat him to a header, you put him off, people. You either jump into his belly, or you jump so that when he's jumping, subconsciously he either thinks, oh, I might hurt myself, or you put him off. There was none of that, essentially. He's got I wouldn't say it's a free header, but it's a free header, and it's a good goal, to be fair. It's 1-1. I'm getting vexed at this point, people, because I'm thinking I've already woke up at stupid o'clock to watch this game. I'm not trying to see penalties, people. Arsenal need to fix up. Joe Willock, he put in a good committed performance. He was obviously tired. He looked tired in the second half. He needed to come off. Committed display. One of the better performers. Ozil, who I thought probably could have kept him on because he looked up for it, came off. Lacazette and Aubameyang. Well, I can't even remember about Aubameyang, to be fair with you, but Lacazette definitely came off. And Eddie came on. Eddie, John Jules and Saka and all of them man there came on. And I feel John Jules and Eddie in particular can leave with some pride, man. I feel it's poor defending in the build-up to the corner that Eddie and Nketiah won for us via the keeper saving his effort is poor from Soleil. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's trying to wait for it to drop. I don't know. But someone half his size is able to kind of out-muscle him through sheer determination, get an effort and earn a corner for his team. And he deserved his goal after that corner, more or less. It's not exactly from the corner, but my mind's a bit blank. Either way, eventually the ball falls to Tyrese John Jules. He showed his strength and composure to finally put the ball into the area, the same area we've been putting it in all game. But Eddie gambles, and Eddie's there, and obviously Eddie deserves his goal because for one, he earned the corner. For two, he's been working very hard in these last two pre-season games to work his socks off, and maybe even trying too hard, but he deserved his goal. John Jules with the assist, done well for that as well. Did think John Jules could have, to match his assist, he could have got a goal. I don't know if he saw his name in lights or whatnot, but he should have scored that. I know Tyrese has the ability to do this, man. You lot know me. I'm Tyrese John Jules FC. I believe whether he makes it at Arsenal or elsewhere, I'm going to always support him. I think he's a bad boy footballer, man. I think he's got a lot of qualities beyond just being a striker and things like that. But he probably should have scored. But either way, people, that's all for the birds. In conclusion, we won, people. We won. We look dangerous on the counter. Maybe we should counter-attack like that more often rather than overly patient, pragmatic, general play, waiting for our fullbacks to overlap and the predictable crosses. I was impressed with the counter-attacking play. I feel Ozil, Joe Willock, Aubameyang in particular, Aubameyang on the right-hand side, Joe Willock obviously through the middle, Mesut Ozil done well as well. I think them three in particular would be my men of the match, if that even makes sense. Eddie, for his little cameo off the bench, did his thing, as did Tyrese. All in all, the main thing is fitness. Everybody pulled through this with no injuries. We move forward, I believe, and we move forward to Florentina on Saturday. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Before the following Wednesday playing against Real Madrid. And I think that will conclude, if not already, if it isn't concluded, our American tour. But at the end of the day, 2 pre-season games, 2 victories, nobody's injured, 2 very different squads that started the game, and they did their thing, man. I can't have any complaints. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. So people, Deluded, stay safe. I'm out. Thank you for watching and rocking. Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 1.